Hey crochet friends, I'm Mo, your crochet companion, and today we're diving deep into filet crochet. If you've ever seen those beautiful intricate lacy designs and thought, oh wow, that looks so complicated, I'm here to tell you it's so much easier than you think. In fact, once you understand how to read a chart and work the basic stitches, the possibilities are endless. And this isn't just any tutorial. This is your ultimate all-in-one filet crochet masterclass. So what are you going to learn in this masterclass? This video combines two of my original filet crochet tutorials into one complete guide, so you don't have to jump between videos. So what am I covering? All the tools you need, including some unexpected ones like, a headlamp, how to read and work filet crochet charts, say goodbye to confusion, creating your first filet crochet project, how to increase and decrease rows, so you're shaping your designs like a pro, lacet stitches, and more advanced open work. And then finally, working on a second filet crochet project. So by the end of this video, you'll not only understand filet crochet, but you'll also have two projects under your belt. So, why this masterclass? Instead of making you hop between videos, I'm bringing everything together in one place so you can work through filet crochet step by step at your own pace. All right, silly check-in. Drop a number in the comments. 1. I love filet crochet and I'm ready to master it. 2. I've been curious about filet crochet, but I didn't know where to start. Or 3. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but Mo's teaching it, so I'm here for it. All right, so now that you know what's coming, go ahead and grab your yarn. Well, in this case, your size 10 thread and size 6 hook, and let's start with the foundation of filet crochet, understanding the tools and setting up your project.
First, we want to go over what we are using today. So today I'm actually going to be introducing you to a few new things. The first one is a headlamp. So I use this and I have it so it moves this way, that way. The reason why I use this is because I quite often use dark threads. And it's really hard to see those dark threads if you don't have enough light. Plus, my husband likes a lighter light in the evenings, and that's when I like to crochet. So, thus the headlamp. Next, you might be needing the stitch markers. I personally don't use these very often unless I want to save myself some counting, which, that's actually a wise idea. No stranger will need our scissors at the end of our project. Today we are actually going to be using the size 6 metal hook, and this is I gotta look at it, it's a 1.8 millimeter. It's a smaller hook, so get prepared. It takes a little bit more practice and a lot more patience, but it is worth it. The usual suspect, our darning needle, the right size for your thread. Today we're actually going to be using my favorite book, and this is what I actually learned how to crochet with, and it's Learn to Filet Crochet in Just One Day. We are actually going to be using one of the projects out of here, Snowflake actually. And then you can use like a colorful thread. This is a size 10 crochet cotton thread. Well, it's not necessarily crochet, but most of the time it's used for crochet. And my favorite is the size 10 white. As you can see, I've got a giant ball of it. I get these from Joann's fabric store. They I don't know what they call it, a pound or something like that, but I use this quite a bit. So we'll be working with that today. You'll have to tell me if you can see the background, with the background, light background with the white color. I'll try to make sure that I'm a little bit closer so you can see the details of this. And then the last unusual thing that we're going to be using today, the steam iron. We're going to use this to block our fabric. I actually just use the steam iron to give my project just a little bit of steam, a little bit of water, and then I pin it to my lace board. Well, it's called a lace pin cushion or something like that. Well, let me go grab it real quick so you can see it. I've actually got the most current project on there. This is what it looks like when you are pinning your project to make sure that it's blocked, and so it holds its shape. So as you can see, this is actually my lace pin cushion. I use this when I am doing my Irish lace, and it makes it really nice for smaller projects. Now if I need to block a larger project, I use it's the same thing as insulation, not insulin, insulation that you would use for your house. That is quite often what I use. I just get a big block of it and break it down into smaller sizes so that I can manage it. But this is actually my favorite thing to use when I'm doing my Irish lace. Okay, so before we just jump right into it, I want to actually briefly go over some information about what we are doing today. So this is called Filet Crochet, and Filet Crochet is actually classified as blocks of squares, open and closed blocks of squares. So I'm going to zoom in here to this pattern right here. You can follow the written part of it, but I personally like to go by the grid. The grid is the easiest way to understand filet crochet. It's a matter of just going row by row from the bottom and working your way up to the top. Now this particular pattern, the row 1, you'll have to pay attention to this when you're doing filet crochet, because sometimes they started at an awkward place, or what we feel like would be an awkward place to start. So row 1 is right here, and that's where we would wind up starting today. So you'll see in here that you have a white block, and then you have a block that has a black dot in it. This is the difference between a open block and a closed block, or what do you call it? A filled square, I guess you could say. That would be a good way to describe it too. So an open block is a chain 2 double crochet. A closed block is 3 double crochets. So you'll see this is an open block. We would chain 2 and then a double crochet and then 3 double crochets, and that would be, let me get a little bit closer here so you can see it a little bit better. So this would be an open block, closed block, open, open, close, close, open, 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 so on and so forth. So you would follow that pattern all the way across. Open block is 2 chains, a double crochet, and then 3 double crochets to do that closed block. And then you would go back to 2 chains, a double crochet, 2 chains, a double crochet, double, 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 double. So when you have 2 closed blocks together, that would wind up being 7 double crochets together. And this is actually going to be the pattern that we're going to work on. So if you want to go ahead and purchase this book, so this is a great book. It's learn how to filet crochet in just 1 day. All right, so let's go over the beginning of this. So the total size should be about 15 inches by 11.5 inches. We need a crochet cotton, 1 ball of white or a ball of your color that you want. You want a size 6 crochet hook, and your gauge is going to be 6 squares by 6 squares equals 2 inches. So let's look at this pattern again. So when we're looking at it, so we're going to go, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So this block of 6 squares should be 2 inches up by 2 inches over. I'm not going to go ahead and check my gauge on this particular one, just because I have already crocheted a full one already, and then we're just going to kind of do a few things here. The one thing that I am going to do a little bit later, I'm going to show you how to get it started, and then I'm going to probably crochet from about here up to here on my own, and then I'm going to show you how to do increases, because we have an increase here and we have an increase here and throughout here until here. And then a little bit later, I already videoed the decreases on there so that you can see the differences in how we increase and decrease. Now, hopefully you'll be able to see this white on this light background. I might have to change that. All right, so obviously we need to do a chain start. And this particular pattern, it actually says to chain 99 chains. Hoofdas. I don't know if I'm gonna show that whole thing. So you're gonna do your slip knot and start chaining those 99 chains. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so let me just go ahead and come back unpause this when I've got 99 chains. Okay, we got 99 chains. That's crazy, right? Look at all those, and it's so small. I can't believe that I started with this. I must be insane. So let me show you a little bit. That's just, I love seeing a braid in the cotton thread. I just love it. I just think it's so pristine and so pretty. Oh, that's just me. So, all right, to get started, the first block that we have is an open block. So for that, we want to chain from 9. We want to let me get untongue-tied. We want to count 9 chains from the hook. So we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And in the 9th chain from the hook, we're going to go ahead and in the next 3 stitches we're going to, I'm looking at the written part. Anywho, so it is a open block, so we're going to go ahead and double crochet in that first stitch. So there's our first open block. Then we are going to do a closed block. So we're going to crochet in the next, or double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Let me get a little bit closer here. 1, 2, 3. And then we have 2 open blocks. So we're going to chain 2. And we're going to skip 2 and then double crochet in the next space. And in the next chain stitch. I want to be grammatically correct. And then we're going to chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next stitch. And don't worry, your first row is going to look and feel incredibly fiddly. I still am that way after many, many years of doing this. Then we have 2 closed blocks. So we're going to double crochet 3 times and then another 3 times. Well, if it wants to cooperate with me. Two and 3. And then another 3. 1, 2, and 3. And I do apologize if you guys can hear my husband snoring in the background. It is his beddy bye time. He goes to bed really early, but sometimes you can hear him snoring in the background. Alright, so we did 2 closed blocks, and then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 open blocks. So we're going to do a chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next stitch. Ooh, la 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 la. I hate it when that happens. It gets all flubbered up. Well, let me scroll back here. Don't need to be quite so close anymore. Skip 2, double crochet. So you'll notice that my videos are pretty raw, and that's just because I want you guys to see how authentic I am, because I am no holds barred authentic. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's right. It was 6. I'm an unfiltered person. 1, 2. And I do make mistakes. I made mistakes on my showpiece that I used at the very beginning. And now I don't even remember. I was going to show you what those mistakes were, but now I don't even remember what they were. So there's that. Alright, so then we're going to do 2 more open blocks. So we chain 2, skip 2, double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. Alright, let's take a look here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 open blocks. And looking at the pattern, we have 1 closed block, so we do 3 double crochets. I would have to say it's been a while since I've actually done anything filet crochet in white. I'm so in love with doing colors. Actually, come to think about it, it's been a minute since I've done anything filet crochet. I've been really hitting my love for the Irish lace and the oh, it's called Freeform. When I learned those, man, my world just completely opened up. And eventually I will teach you all as well how I do that and the best way to do it and the tools. I've already been kind of giving you guys little hints here and there about what the tools that I use. Like today, I showed my pin board. And my headlamp. I look like I'm in sci-fi or something. It's funny, but you know, I find that I actually have more than one use for that headlamp. You know, if I want to read a book and my husband doesn't want the lights on, I'll read my book with my headlamp on. Or I take the dog outside at night and I put my headlamp on. I'm the only weirdo out there with a headlamp on, taking the dog to the bathroom. Oh, and while I'm sitting here just bumping my gums, I forgot to count this. So we had gotten past those 6 open, 1 close, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more opens. I've already done 4 of those 5, and we're going to do a chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. Alright, and then we're going to have another close block. Yeah, and there we go. One more close block, and you'll notice that a lot of our stuff that we do is going to be similar to what we did in the front, so this is the other half of it, so we can actually just look at our own work and just keep on going. So we did those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 open blocks, and then we're going to do two closed blocks, 2 open, 1 closed, 1 open. And we hope that my count was right. Alright, chain 2. And you'll see that it's pretty monotonous. I mean, it's such an easy form to learn, but it's a matter of taking your time and really paying attention to your tension and counting. A lot of counting. Who knew you'd have so much counting in crochet? And if you're in the middle of counting and somebody asks you that question and you're like, let me just count out loud or louder so that y'all can know that I'm actually counting. Otherwise, my count is going to be messed up, and then I'm going to be mad because I have to start that count all over again. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. Just that fast, I forgot what I was doing. Okay, so we're looking at this. We have 6, and then we had 2 closed blocks. So we're going to do 2 closed blocks. I actually like this a lot better with the purple color that I did. I don't know, that purple thread was just on point. It was just slid just perfectly. It was so smooth. And this just seems kind of clumsy a little bit. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Maybe it's just because it's my foundation row. I always hate the foundation row. It's so fiddly and annoying. Alright, so then we're going to go to the open block, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. That didn't work out, did it? Let's try that again. Alright, double crochet in there. See, this is why I use that finger to hold it there until I can know that it's not going to slide off my hook. Alright, looking at this, we had 2 open blocks, then a closed block, and then an open block. So there's 1 and 2. Then we're going to do a closed block, 1, 2, and if my count was wrong, then you're going to see it in real time. Well, I guess not technically real time since I'm recording this ahead of time, but you get the gist. Okay, 1, 2. Hey, look at that. I didn't count wrong. I guess you could say I played chicken and I won. Okay, so let's take a look at this. It's a little clumsy looking when the first row is always kind of clumsy looking, but there's the first row. All right, let's do one more row together, and then I'm going to work my way up to a increase. So to do a turn, since we have a open block, what we're going to do is we are actually going to chain 5. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those first 3 is going to be your DC, or going to count as your DC, and then the chain 2. Then you're going to turn. I always recommend, whoops, excuse me. In filet crochet, I always recommend turning this way. The reason why I recommend doing that is like on the back row when you're going back the other way, your chains won't be laying quite right to make it easy for you when you go back in there. So, okay, so now we're going to do a open block. And we do a closed block. You see how much easier that second row is already. There again, make sure you're paying attention to your tension. I have done that, and sometimes like I will have a certain tension when I start and stop, and then when I come back my tension is different. I don't know what that's all about, but I've seen it before where it seemed like my work was getting bigger. So I had to pull it out and unravel it and try it again with a different tension, or I just kept on going and tried to adjust it a little bit as I went. So all right, so we're going to do 2 open blocks. Still reading that pattern from bottom to top, left or right to left. And then we have 3 closed blocks. So we should have 7 crochets or 7 double crochets, and then we're going to do an additional 3, so that makes 10 double crochets. And let me get a little bit closer here. This is actually why I've left my nails, because I don't like having my nails long because I do a lot of typing and they get in my way and they annoy me. But when I'm doing my filet crochet, I like to have my nail so that I can get my hook in there a little bit easier. I use my thumbnail to get in there. You'll also notice when you're doing filet crochet, you get the line on that finger, and I have a tendency to stab my middle finger, so I get a callus right there after a while. Yeah, and I said it. I stab my finger. See how I stab my finger? So this is how I like to do it, because I like to get those braids that are at the top. This braid right here. Oh, my focus is out of focus there. So I like to get that braid. So this is how I do it. There you go. And then I pull it up top. And you'll want to make sure that you're actually crocheting into that stitch, not just into the space. You want to crochet in that stitch, because with filet crochet, it doesn't lay right if you're crocheting into that space. You want to crochet into this stitch itself. And then we're going to double crochet at the top of that double crochet. So that's 3 closed blocks, and then we are doing another 2 open blocks. Oh, okay, yeah. 2 open blocks. Ooh, we can scroll out here. Have any of you tried to zoom in and zoom out a book yet? I seem to be doing that now. I'm like, what am I doing? It's a book. I can't zoom in and zoom out on a book. I did that the other day when I was doing a video for y'all. Alright, so we did 2 open blocks and we're doing another 2 closed blocks. Oh boy. I hope y'all can't hear my husband because he's really going to town in there. Some serious chainsaw work in there. Alright, so then we're going to do 2 open blocks. And to do an open block over a closed block, you just count 1, 2, and then double crochet in that 3rd stitch. So 2 open blocks, and then we're going to do 5 closed blocks. And that's 2 closed blocks. Then we're going to start working on number 3. And if y'all don't understand what I mean by my husband's doing some serious chainsaw work, it's like they make a joke that when you're snoring that you're using the chainsaw to chop down wood. I don't know where that joke came from, but that's what it means. Just silly humans doing silly jokes, right? Alright, so there we got at 4 closed blocks. We got 1 more to go. And we kind of do the opposite of what we were doing before at the beginning. Oop, I cannot get into that. I must have done it. That stitch, see, this is what happens when you do your stitch too tight. Then you have to strong arm it. Okay, got my hook in there. And I find myself slouching. Why am I slouching? We know that slouching is bad for you. We slouch enough over our computers and keyboards all day long. We don't need to slouch while we're crocheting too. We want to keep our backs healthy so that we can continue crocheting, right? Now you're starting to see that it's starting to shape up a little bit here. All right, so we need to do 2 closed blocks. Starting to look a little bit better, not so fiddly and weird. Now, if you're following along with me and you've already got the book, you're following along, or you're following along with the pattern, then remember that when you are turning and you have an open block at the beginning of your row, you are going to be chaining 5. All right, so that was 2 closed blocks, and we are going to be doing 2 open blocks. So it's that chain 2, skip, and then a DC, chain 2, DC, well, maybe, what, as my friend from work say. She doesn't cuss, and neither do I, so we say, what the what? I don't know what's going on with that stitch. We're gonna force it to behave. There we go. That must have been one of the ones that I was having a hard time getting it to cooperate. Okay, then we're going to do, where are we at? So we did 2 closed, then we do 2 opens, and then 3 closed. So now we're doing those 3 closed. This is the reason why you don't want to do your stitches too tight, because then it's hard to get your hook in there. But I have a tendency to do that sometimes with my starting row or foundation row. Wow. That's why I said that purple. I don't know, that purple, it just was so much smoother than this white. Alright, so 3 closed blocks. 2 of them are over 2 closed blocks. So that's easy enough. And then 2, or was it 1? Nope, it's 2 closed blocks, 1 open, or 2 open, 1 closed, 1 open. And we're going to do this a little bit different at the tail end because we have nothing but chains as our open block in the first row. Alright, so then we chain 2, and then we count 2 from here. So we're going to skip this stitch, and we're going to skip this stitch, and we're going to go into this stitch right here. There you go. It's starting to shape up a little bit. And you kind of block that when you're done with it, so it kind of holds the right shape. Okay, so we got to the tail end of round 2, so I'm going to keep on going until we get to, I believe it is 3, 4, 5, round 5, and then we'll do a block increase. It's really not too difficult, but I like to show you. So as you can see, that's kind of what it's shaping up to be. All right, if you want to keep going, I'm going to come back, or if you want to pause the video and we'll come back, we'll do another 3 rows, and then we'll do an increase row. I made it back. We have 5 rows completed now. You're seeing a kind of a pattern starting to emerge now. We are actually going to do a increase. I'm just going to do 1 block increase just so you guys get an idea. So this is going to be row 6. I had to think about that for a minute. So usually you want to do the chain, obviously it's going to be attached to the row before, but we're going to do a chain. So to do an increase, we want to do a chain of 8. So that you're going to have that 5 chains, which is what we normally do when we do a turn, and you have an open block at the very beginning. In this case, we're going to do 8. So it goes 5 chains plus 3. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to turn, and then we're going to double crochet in this very first double crochet. Here, let me get a little bit closer here. So we did chain 8, and then we're going to double crochet in that very first double crochet. So then we have an increase. We're going to keep going until we get to the end, and I'm going to show you how to do an increase at the end of the row. So this particular row, we're going to do 1 open, 1 closed. And then we're going to do 1 open, 4 closed. You might get the joy of hearing my noisemaker here. She has decided to perch on the back of my chair like as if she is a cat. And the neighbors are in and out this evening, and she does not like our neighbors. So there is that. If I need to, I will pause so that y'all don't hear the brunt of her noise making, because boy howdy is she loud. Nobody told me that an American Eskimo, especially the female, are as loud as they are. I knew they were barkers, and well, not necessarily barkers, but I knew they were watchdogs. But boy, I was not ready for the volume. This girl can be heard across our apartment complex. And she's well known. Very well known. All right, so we had 4 closed blocks. And we're going to do... Oh, whoops. I'm looking at row 10. We don't do 4 closed blocks for round 10. Or for round 6. Or do we? Oh my goodness, I just undid it. I gotta do it again, because we do 4 closed blocks. Well, wouldn't you know, that's fun. I get to do all that all over again. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, it won't take me that long to redo it, since I got my stitch all stretched out there. And feel free to fast forward until I get to the end of the row too. I mean, I know I have interesting stories sometimes, but sometimes I can be boring. I used to do home care, and I had some very interesting people that I used to take care of. I had one lady, well, kind of like my specialty was Alzheimer's. There's something about somebody with Alzheimer's that I just really enjoyed caring for them. I had a knack for understanding them even though they couldn't communicate their needs with me. One lady in particular, she would never want to take a shower, ever, ever, ever. And I figured out one day why it was that she didn't like taking a shower. She started to jump into the shower for me, and then all of a sudden, you know, she stuck her little pinky toe in the shower stall and then went whoop. So she didn't like the cold of the floor. And so I started warming the floor up with the shower head before she would stick her foot in there. And then she would just jump right in. And any time that I would take a day off, the caregiver that would come in my place could never get her to take a shower, even though I told him, you got to warm the floor up. And she was like, nope, you didn't warm it up well enough. And she would not get in there for them. Pardon me, I'll be back in just a jiffy. Okay, where did we leave off? Let's take a look here. So this is a good example of what you do when you leave off somewhere and you set your work down. You gotta pick it up and figure it out where you are. Alright, so we have an open block, closed block, open block, closed, 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 open, closed, open, closed, open. So let's look at our pattern. Where are we at? Alright, right there. So we had 2 open blocks and then we needed to do 3 closed blocks. So 2 open blocks and 3 closed blocks. Oops. I think my ball is somewhere wandering now. That big old ball is wandering around the living room floor. Okay, I said 3, so 1, 2, and 3 closed blocks. And we're going to do an open block. And then 3 more closed blocks. Alright, so I will meet you at the end of this row, and then we'll pick up where we left off, and I'll show you how to do an increase at the end of the row. Great, we have got to the end of the row, so to finish that increase block at the end of your row, this is what we're going to do. You see that our last block was a closed block and we're going to do an open block. So we're going to chain 2, then we're going to do a triple treble, or double treble, excuse me, double treble. It's called a double treble. So we're going to do 3 wraps. So 1, 2, 3. We already know that a treble is 2. We're going to do 3. And then right here, let's go in a little bit closer. This right here, this stitch right here, we're going to go into that stitch and we're going to complete our treble in that stitch, or that double treble. So then we're going to do an insert, pull up your loop, insert, pull through 2, insert, pull through 2, oh excuse me, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There we go. And there you have it. You have an increased block or an increased row. I'm going to go ahead and finish the next, I believe it is the next 4 rows, and I will see you back here for an increase of not one but multiple blocks. All right, see you in a little bit. We have made it to the end of round 10, so now we're going to do a 2 open block increase at the beginning of a row. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So basically you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for one block, which is the first, well, I guess it would technically be the third open block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to have 1, 2, 3 for the next one, and then another 3 for the next. So basically for every open block, you're going to take that chain 5 and then chain an additional 3. All right, so let's go ahead and turn. We've chained our 11, we're going to turn, and then we're going to double crochet in the ninth chain from the hook. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And it's going to seem really fiddly when you do it too. So if it takes you a couple tries, that's okay. Yeah, it's trying to lock all those together. Let's do that again. Let's do that again because that was very fiddly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I lost count. 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so we're going to do a double crochet in the 9th chain from the hook. There we go. Then we chain 2. We're going to skip those 2 stitches and go into that double crochet right there. Again, it's still going to be fiddly. Takes practice to do increases and decreases, really. Well, decreases are easier than increases. All right, then we're going to look at our pattern again. The next block is a closed block. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this row, and I will meet you back here at the end of the row, and I'm going to show you how to do the increase, the 2 open block increase at the end of the row. Thanks so much for your patience as we learn this together. Our final increase, and then our next segment we're going to start doing decreases. All right, so we already know how to do a increase for 1 block. Now I'm going to show you how to do 2. So this is that first block. We're going to do that treble, and we're going to double treble in that stitch right there. And we're going to really have to wiggle that through, apparently. There we go. We're going to work our way through all of those. Now we're going to do that one more time. So we're going to do a double, chain 2, a double treble. So we're going to wrap that thread around 3 times. And this time we're going to just grab these. It doesn't really have to be perfect, but you're just going to go grab this stitch right here in that double treble. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Just going to grab that right there. See that right there? And then we're going to do that to finish that double treble. All the way through to the end. There you go. Now you have a increase of 2 open blocks. Now generally most patterns won't have a increase for a closed block, so that's why I'm not covering that today. Maybe if I ever find a pattern that has a closed block at the end, I'll do a video at that time. So there you go. It looks like it's shaping up pretty good. Starting to see some kind of a pattern. I'm going to be using a different color yarn in the next interval or the next segment. So we'll see you in the next segment. Hey, you made it back. All right, so I'm actually using a different color this time, and that's because I had already started this a little while ago. But I wanted to kind of show you a couple of things on the other side. So here, let me show you a little bit better. So this is kind of what it looked like. Oh, let me straighten it out here. So that's what it looks like. What we're going to do is that on the filet crochet, we actually flipped to the other side. And we're going to finish up the other side. Pardon me. All right. So on our snow star, we are actually going to join. You see, I already did one side here. So if you remember correctly, we started at a different point at the beginning. So this is the beginning row, and then we flip over and we do the remainder of those rows, and then we're going to do the remainder of these few short rows here. So how I do that is we're going to go ahead. Let me show you a little bit closer here. So I'm sorry, I chose a darker color because I like the color. When I crochet on the other side, because of the fact that we do a chain foundation, it's a little bit fiddlier. So when I go into those, I actually pull up, I don't know if you guys can see it. I actually pull up this thread right here, and then I go back behind and pick up this as well. And that's because I wanted to make sure that it's more secure. So we are going to actually we're going to add our yarn right there, okay? Let me get my yarn again. I put it away like I wasn't going to use again. I don't know. I wasn't thinking apparently. All right, so we're going to add that thread here. Let me go back a little bit. All right. And on that particular row, we are going to be doing an open box first. So we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go to our next one. And remember, we're going to pull up that one strand first and then pick up the knob at the back just for a little more security. I'm going to put that, we're actually going to weave that in a little bit. Oh, I guess I crocheted over it, but that's okay. We're going to weave it in correctly in a little while. Then the next box is actually an open box, or excuse me, I'm sorry, a closed box. So we're gonna do 3 DCs. Make sure that you are going into that strand, not just into the space. And then I'm gonna do that last DC on top of the DC. And if you notice that I started on top of that closed box, and that's because we are actually decreasing our rows as we go. And that's why I wanted to show this to you, is because we were decreasing the rows. Okay, so our next is we have 4 open boxes. Let's go ahead and crochet those 4 open boxes. So 1, 2. And this is definitely fiddly. I don't like usually trying to attach to the other side because it is a little bit fiddly. So there's 3. Three and 1 more. Four open boxes, then we have 1 closed box. Come on. Oh, this is the reason why you need nails when it comes to this. Why is it not catching? There we go. And remember, closed box is basically 3 double crochets plus your first double crochet. If you have 2 closed boxes together, then you're going to have 7 double crochets. Alright, so it's 1 closed box, then we're going to do 3 open boxes. And then from here, we're going to do another closed box. And then 1 more double crochet here. Oh. And then we finish off that particular row with 1 more open crochet, open box. Now to decrease, we are going to turn our work, and we're going to do a slip stitch in the first 3 stitches. And you actually want to go into that stitch. Let me go a little bit closer so you guys can see it a little bit better. So I'm actually going into that stitch. Well, maybe. It's being a little fiddly today. All right. There we go. All right, one more slip stitch. There we go. All right, so now we're going to back up a little bit, and we're going to do the first stitch of that row. And the first box of that row is actually going to be an open box. Yes, it's going to be an open box. 3, 4, 5. Let's go back a little bit more. Now it's not going to be so fiddly. Then we are actually going to be doing an open box in the next 3 boxes. Well, it's always fun to get to the end of a project. That's why I like sharing the end of this one, because then you guys can see what it means to finish it. It's really actually quite fun, and then you get to see the design and everything. So alright, so the next box is an open box, and then we have 4 more closed boxes. Once again, you want to make sure that you're going into the actual stitch itself, not just going into this chain space, because that ruins the integrity of the filet crochet. Now some patterns you can just go into the actual chain space, but with filet crochet you do not want to do that. Okay, so we've done 2. Got 2 more done here. And while I'm just sitting here doing these, and just want to talk to you guys for a minute. So if you guys are wanting something in particular, I guess I should say ladies, because I saw that most of the people that are watching my videos are actually ladies. So if you are seeing that you want to do something in particular and you want to learn something in particular, you know, just throw a comment my way. If it's something that I don't know, that's okay. We can learn it together. I'm pretty good about learning new things. Alright, so we're done with that last row. So it was those 4 closed and then 1 more open, and we're going to do 1 more decrease. So you're going to do the slip stitch in those first 3 stitches. Now if you have like, you have to decrease by 2 blocks, obviously you're going to do a slip stitch in those first stitches in all those 2 blocks, you know, all the stitches in those 2 blocks. Okay. Now this is saying that all the rest of my boxes for this particular row are open. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip 2 DCs, double crochet in that next one, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next one, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in that next one. And I always like to make sure that I'm authentic in everything that I do, so that's why I let you guys see my mistakes. So even after 20 plus years, I still make mistakes. All right, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, we've got a theme going on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. It makes me think of those sack races. All right, that's the last stitch. Aren't you excited? So on one end, when you're decreasing, you just don't, you know, you don't go down to that last block whether, and at the beginning of the row, then you're doing those slip stitches. But that is the end of our design. I'm going to go ahead and clip this off. And we're going to weave in a couple ends just so you can see how we do it on the filet crochet. I'm going to go back to this one because I accidentally weaved that one in. Alright, so let's pick a spot. We're going to take our little darning. I use a smaller darning needle for filet crochet, obviously, because it's yarn, or not, it's thread versus yarn. Thread or needle. Now I'm going to go to the back side, and I'm just going to find a place here that I can skip through there. It's a little bit fiddlier to weave in ends with filet crochet, so you kind of have to be a little bit pickier. So you see I kind of went down through the sides, and then I'm going to go across this full section here. Weave in that way. Laces are always going to be a little bit harder to weave in your ends. Then we're going to skip that first strand and weave in the other way. And then just for some stable and security, I'm going to skip that strand at the other end, and we're going to go back through again. There we go. And we'll snip off that end. And you basically do the same thing for every single strand of thread. And then for cotton or for the thread, you can actually use a hot iron with steam. That's usually what I do on these particular items. Now if I need a little bit more secure blocking, then I will actually wet the entire thing, maybe use a light starch, or I suppose you could use a heavier starch, but I prefer light starch. And then I take a they use those little mats, I can't remember what they're called, or a cork board. You can use a cork board. I've got a cork board, well, a board that I use that I created for when I do my Irish lace, and then I just use that cork board, pin it onto my cork board, and then let it dry, and then take it off my cork board. So when you're actually blocking it, so you want to make sure if you're pinning it, you want to make sure that you're pinning these corners to make sure that they stay out so that it looks defined on your board. And we can, later down the road, I will actually do more of a blocking kind of video too, so that it kind of helps you figure out what is really a quite beautiful thing to do to make your piece look beautiful. But as you can see, this is our finished product. I'm going to go ahead and finish and weaving in my ends at a later time. You guys will probably see the full picture at the very beginning of the video, because I like to show off my work too. So I did do another video many years ago on the Lacet stitch, but I just decided that maybe it was time for a revisit. So here we are revisiting this, and we're going to go into our next segment. So I'm actually just going to take you through a quick refresher and go over the last few rows of my little project here. And if you want to create a project similar to your own, you'll have to check out that book that I have in the comments or in the description, because you'll need that to get the full instructions. And it is called Learn to Do Filet Crochet in Just One Day. So I got this pattern from that. It's actually just a simple letter, basically. And you'll take their graph and put your letter that you want in that. It's supposed to be a coaster, but quite frankly, I think it's too big for a coaster. Maybe if you want to put a couple things on there at the same time. But let's get to it. If you've got your materials, grab yours as well. We're going to just dive into it. So let's go over a refresher of what is what with filet crochet. If you want to go more in depth, you can always check out my filet crochet beginner video. I have everything that you could possibly know about filet crochet on that one, including the increase, how to decrease, and then the basics on how to do it. So just as a refresher, our open block is 4 double crochets, and our closed block is basically 4 double crochets, or 3 depending on how you want to look at it, and then our open block is the chain 2 double crochet. Let me get a little bit closer here so that you can see this. There you go. So open block. So you're normally going to have 1 double crochet at the beginning, so it's technically 3 double crochets. So that is a closed block, and our open block is the chain 2 double crochet. So you would skip 2 chains and then double crochet. All right, let's get to it. I'm actually just going to teach you how to do the Lacet stitch today. And this is a beautiful stitch. So what is the Lacet stitch? Let's go over that real quick. A Lacet stitch is a variation of the basic mesh, creating a more open and decorative effect. It's perfect for adding a touch of elegance to filet crochet designs. How it works. A Lacet stitch is made by chaining 3 or more and skipping stitches as the basic filet, but spacing the single crochets differently for a unique look. All right, so let's just get to it, okay? So this first, according to the design that I have, and I got to refresh my memory where I was. So this first block was actually going to be open. So we're going to chain 5. You would chain 5 when you're doing an open block on the very first block. So we're going to go into that first one. We're doing an open block. And then we're getting to our Lacet stitch. A Lacet stitch is a chain of 3. So we're going to do a chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Let me get a little bit closer here so that you guys can see. Okay, there we go. So it's a chain of 3. So we just chain 3, and then we're going to, since I already did a Lacet on this one, so what we're going to do is I'm going to count 1, 2, and I'm going to go into that middle chain, and I'm going to do a single crochet. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to skip 2 chains, and we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. We're going to get plenty of practice doing this. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 2 chains, single crochet in the next chain, chain 3, double crochet in, we'll skip 2 chains and double crochet in the next double crochet. Let me refresh my memory what we're doing. So we're basically doing 3 of these. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and we're going to skip 2 chains, and we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 2 stitches, double crochet in the next one. So let's take a look at that. So as you can see, we're starting to see a pattern. So we're doing a chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 3. So one lacet stitch is just this right here. So it's a chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, double crochet. Now let's go ahead and finish my row here. So the next ones that I was doing, I have to do 2 close blocks. So remember that those 2 closed blocks, they are going to be basically 3 double crochets plus that initial one. Okay. Then the next one we are actually going to be okay, so yeah, we're going to be doing a lacet stitch. So we're going to chain 3, is that how I did it? I don't think that's how I did it the first time. 2, 3, 4. I'm just looking at my pattern, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I see what I did. It's like I was doing it kind of backwards. So we're actually going to do an open block first. So 2 open blocks. And I had started a lacet stitch on the previous row. So we're going to finish that on this row. So to finish the lacet stitch, we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see, a lacet stitch spans 2 rows. So you have to do 2 rows in order to complete one lacet stitch. So we're going to chain 5, and we're going to skip over all of these chain 3s and that single crochet, and we're going to go into that double crochet right here. And we're going to double crochet in that stitch. Now, we're going to do a open block here. 2 more closed blocks. And definitely check out if you're wanting to learn a little bit more about the filet crochet, check out that video. I go into much more in depth of how to do the open and close blocks. And I had a little project there too, so that's a good project for filet crochet as well. So now we're going to start that lacet stitch. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip those 2 stitches, a single crochet in that next stitch, chain 3, and we're going to skip over those 2 chains. We're going to double crochet in that first one. Another 1, 2, 3, skip 2 chains, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, skip 2 chains, double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to do 1 more of those. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, skip 2, double crochet, and our last block was an open block, so we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet in that first chain space. All right, now we're going to turn around, and the very first block of the next row is actually a closed block. So we're going to chain 3, we're going to turn, we're going to do a double crochet in the next 3 spaces or stitches. We're going to finish that Lacet stitch. I don't know why I keep trying to say Lacet, but it's Lacet. So if you remember from the previous row, we have to chain 5. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip over these chain 3 spaces, that single crochet, these chain 3 spaces, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the next space, or well, the next stitch. See how that comes together? I don't know why, but my light just didn't seem like I was doing. There we go. That's better. And we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip those 3. We're going to skip that single crochet. We're going to skip those next chain 3s, and then we're going to double crochet in that next stitch. So now you see, we're starting to see it come to fruition. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip those 3, skip that single crochet, skip those 3, and we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. Now, let's see, what did I do? So I'm actually doing my pattern a little bit different than what they actually did. That's because I wanted to have the Lacet stitch in this particular tutorial. But they use just open and closed blocks in the pattern itself. So I just kind of changed it to suit what I was doing here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to begin the Lacet stitches. So we're going to chain that 3, skip 2 stitches, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, skip 2 stitches, and double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 3. Yep, okay. We're going to single crochet on top of that double crochet after we skip 2 stitches. Chain 3. We're going to do this a little bit different. We're going to have a double crochet in the middle of the Lacet stitch, the previous Lacet stitch that we did. So we're going to skip 2 and we're going to do a double crochet. One, 2, 3, skip 2 chains, single crochet. 1, 2, 3, skip 2 stitches, double crochet. Okay, 1, 2, 3, skip 2 stitches, single crochet. 1, 2, 3, skip 2 stitches, double crochet. And we're going to do an open block for the next one. We're just going to do a chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. We're going to finish the Lacet stitch from the previous row. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip those 3, skip that, skip those 3, and double crochet in the next double crochet. Chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip those 3. Oh, I got my knot coming up here. Skip those 3, skip that single crochet, skip 3, and we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, skip 3, skip single crochet, skip 3, double crochet in that next double crochet. And we are ending on a closed block, so we're going to go ahead and double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's take a look at that real quick, and I'm going to undo my ball here, or my knot that's trying to form. But let's take a look at this real quick. Let me back out a little bit so you can see the visual. So as you can see, so we finished these lacet stitches and we've started these lacet stitches. Then we finish those, and then we're going to go to the next round. So the next round is an open block at the very first one. So we're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5. We're going to turn our work. We're going to skip a stitch, and double crochet in the next stitch. Now from here on out, I don't do any more, I don't start any more lacet stitches. I just finish the ones that I started. So from here, we are going to do a closed block. So we're going to do a double crochet in the next 3. So that was 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do an open block. Let's see, how many do we need to do? Oh, all the way to our lacet stitch. So and this is kind of sort of considered a mesh stitch. It has somebody who actually does do Irish lace as well. It's a form of mesh stitch, but it's not the preferred mesh stitch for Irish lace. So, and one day in the future, you will get to learn about that, because that is also one of my specialties. I love doing Irish lace. It's like one of my favorite things. I will actually quite often combine Irish lace with freeform to create different kind of designs. I love doing that because when I learned how to do that, it opened up my whole world. And I even have been learning a little bit of Romanian lace. Romanian laces, they use more of a needle than they do a crochet hook, but you can add the Romanian lace to your Irish lace patterns to form something beautiful. So all right, let's go forward. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more again here, and we're gonna finish those lacet stitches here. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do what I normally do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're gonna skip those 3 chains, skip that single crochet, skip those 3 chains, and then we're going to do a double crochet in the next double crochet. As you can see, it's starting to show itself, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. While you can use the filet crochet to enhance if that's your ultimate goal, is to do Irish lace, this is a great place to start. We'll also want to do some little doilies and stuff too, so that kind of gives you a little practice on doing other stitches as well. That's been my journey anyway. I didn't go straight into Irish lace. Okay, so we're skipping 3, skipping the single crochet, skipping 3, and then double crochet. So the journey I'm taking you all through, this has been kind of my whole journey, learning all the different stitches and, oops, I forgot what I was doing. Learning all the different stitches, and then eventually I tackled Irish lace. So from here on out, we're just doing open blocks and closed blocks. And I believe these are all open for the rest of this row. Let's try that stitch over again. We'll zoom out. We don't need to be that close anymore. Oh, we did have that one that we have to do, that one closed block yet. So one more open one, and then we have one closed one. That's the last closed one, and we're going to do one more open one, finish our row with an open block. Okay, there we go. Gonna finish untangling. So what I did was I wanted to show you the finished product and finish it off with you. But I wanted to make sure that it was, I wanted to practice it first before I showed you, because I was doing it different than what the pattern called for. So I actually unraveled my work up into a certain point so I could finish those last 4 rows with you. So that's what I'm dealing with over here, a little bit of a rat's nest. Okay, so the next stitch we're going to do on the next row is a closed block. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. We're going to turn our work and we're going to do a closed block. Now this row is the last row, and we basically do a closed, open, closed, open, closed to create the final bit of the design. So we'll just get to that. There we go. So we're on the closed one. We're going to do another open one. So lately I've actually been working on a steampunk themed tank top. I've been doing some freeform butterflies, bumblebees. I did a silhouette. Right now I'm working on some cogs, trying to learn to make how to make some cogs, because I think that will finish it out. Oh, I even made one of those old gramophones. It was really cool. That was probably the favorite one, but I got a lot of mixed reviews on the gramophone. Some people thought it was an alien. Some could really see what it was. I think in context with all the rest of the motifs that I created with it, it will come together. So that's just kind of a little sneaky peek on what some of the things that you could be doing in the future. I don't know if it's going to be something I'm doing sooner rather than later, or later. It is a really lengthy project. I've been working on it off and on for about a year. I had to put it away because life happened for a while. So I put it away. I've got all the motifs pretty much done except for the cogs, and then I'll start the assembly process. I'm putting everything together with that mesh stitch. Yep, that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing some babbling while I'm finishing this row. Kind of fun, right? Sometimes. My husband's always telling me I'm running off at the tulips. And I guess to some degree, I do run off at the tulips. He's a funny man. Got some weird sayings himself, so. Alright, so what I'm going to do, since you guys get the basic idea, is I'm going to finish my row and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, we're at the end. Oh, oops, well, we were at the end of the row. I just undid my stitches. Well, okay, I guess we're doing a couple extra stitches. Well, wasn't that fun? See how easy it is to unravel? Even unintentionally. Alright, so we're doing an open and a closed stitch or closed box. The last close, so we're going to just do a double crochet in those last 3 stitches. Oh, apparently I did what I tell y'all not to do, and that's to do your stitches too tight, because then you can't get your hook in there. Alright, there is our last stitch, so we're going to go ahead and finish it off by cutting our thread, and we're going to pull. Now you can do that 1 extra stitch. I don't like that myself because I think it looks bulky, except for in certain circumstances I might. I know I'm working on another project and I probably will teach you to do that, have you do that, because it was necessary with that particular kind of pattern and that particular kind of thread. So we are going to weave in our ends. Yes, I'm going to torture you guys by showing you me weaving my ends in. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. But in the future, I probably will show you how to start your lacy projects by tucking your ends in as you go. That way you have fewer ends to do at a later time. So it's a little technique I learned when I started doing Irish lace. So as you can see, I'm not really following any kind of rhyme or reason, and that's because this is lacy. So it's a little bit harder to really tuck them into a nice little streamline. So I'm just kind of weaving and woving. And then I go back through the other way and weave and wob a couple times that way. All right. That should be sufficient. I want to make sure that it's, you know, just enough so it won't. And make sure you're cutting your thread and not your work. I've done that before and I cried because I had to do the whole project over again. All right, let's weave in the other end. Well, maybe. And then we finish our project off by blocking it, because as you can kind of see, it's a little wonky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sting to this and I'm going to pin it on my lace board so that it lays flat. And I think I showed the lace board in another video. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been my other filet crochet video. At this point, I've done so many videos, I can't remember which one's what. Okay, so I'm going to weave back through that one. And then we're going to go up a ways. So So let's just tuck it in here, tuck it up through here. And then I'm going to go to this row right here, and I'm going to weave back and forth a couple times that way. That way we don't have that thread just randomly popping out. One more time. Cutting the thread, not my work. There we go. All right. So as you can see, filet crochet, especially with the Lacet stitch, it's perfect for airy, lightweight designs like blankets, table runners, or wall hangings. When I do blankets, I just do it with the yarn instead of the thread. You can also experiment with using the Lacet stitch and patterns for added texture and flow. So as you can see from this design, that's what I did. So instead of just doing the open blocks, closed blocks on this, I just added the Lacet stitch. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you doing it for your design because the open and closed blocks, it amplifies the actual design. So it kind of took away from my little M. As you can see, my little cursive M is there, but anyway, so I'm fiddling with it because I'm really wanting to block it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here in just a little bit. So that's pretty much, that's your refresher on filet crochet, and just a real quick snippet on the refresher on that filet crochet and then that Lacet stitch. How does it feel to revisit these techniques, or we're trying something new, that Lacet stitch?
And just like that, you've mastered filet crochet. You've learned how to read a chart, create the classic filet mesh, shape your designs with increases and decreases, and even add Lacet stitches for extra detail. And best of all, you've completed 2 projects. But let's be real, this is just the beginning. Filet crochet is an endless world of design possibilities, and now that you've got the basics down, you can start creating your own patterns, mixing stitches, and making filet projects as big or as intricate as you want. Tell me in the comments, what filet crochet project are you going to make next? A delicate lace shawl, a decorative tape runner, a filet design with your favorite word or initials? I need to know. Spill the tea. All right, well, if this masterclass helped you, hit that like button so I know to keep making full-length tutorials. Subscribe so you never miss another crochet adventure. Turn on notifications because there's always a new stitch to learn. Until next time, happy crocheting.